Whether the president, who has been former president and now is operating in his individual capacity and commits crime, could be liable to be prosecuted. We did see that the president 2 days ago did get agitated, the former president did get agitated when they arrested their Secretary General of the Patriotic Front, who is Honorable Raphael Nagachinda, at Kawana police station. He issued quite a controversial statement that the people might rise up. This was interpreted in a different language by those in government. One of those that spoke around this issue is Permanent Secretary from the Ministry of Information and Media, Mr. Thabo Kawana, and threatened that the former president might be arrested. For the avoidance of doubt, here's a clip courtesy of the Zambia National Broadcasting Corporation that we brought you, that Mr. Thabo Kawana and the actual words which he said when he warned the former president.
To a former head of state only applies to the time that he held office and the activities he undertook during the time he or she held office. Any activities that are undertaken beyond holding office, such a person is liable and is able to be taken on by the law. So if you commit an offense and you're a former president, you commit an offense after having left office, you will be treated like any other person that has committed an offense. You will be arrested and you will be prosecuted. However, your immunity is...
Well, the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Information and Media is back in the news, and we're speaking to him tonight. Mr. Thabo Kawana, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us on Diamond Live. Obviously, this has brought a lot of debate around what you did mention. Article 98, Part 4 of the Zambian Constitution is very clear regarding the immunity of the president. For those that could have mislaid your statement, what exactly did you mean over President Edgar Lungu's immunity?
I think let us be very clear so that we don't lose each other here. You can replay that clip and you will find that I did not mention anybody there. I referred to the office of president and its occupants thereafter, he or she. I did not mention anybody's name. So let's not narrow this talk to around talking about an individual. I have not mentioned an individual. Number two, I re-emphasize that when you are a president, and let me give myself as an example. If I am president and, for example, I injure you, say maybe I shoot you in the leg, and I am the president. At the time I am president, I cannot be arrested for that. And I cannot be prosecuted for that. And because I'm enjoying immunity. Now, if after I leave office, two scenarios, you may come back and say, Thabo, when he was president, he shot me. One, that does not stop the police from investigating me. Even if I have immunity, they will investigate. Should they find that they have established a prima facie case, and that it is true I did shoot you, and they want to prosecute me, they cannot. They now have to take the matter to Parliament, so that then Parliament removes my immunity, then now they can arrest me. Because my immunity covers me for the period I was in office and the actions I took when I was in office. So that even when I leave office, you cannot come and start arresting me for things I did when I was in office. I have immunity. However, if you want to arrest me for those things I did when I was in office, you have to go to Parliament to remove my immunity. That's scenario number one. But scenario number two, when now I am no longer president, and I meet you, I've assaulted you, the police will arrest me immediately. I am a former president who has assaulted you. I have committed crime. The police will arrest me immediately. I have no immunity from being arrested for actions I take after I leave office. There is no immunity for me as a former president from transgressing the law after I have left office. It is just as clear and plain as that.
Yeah.
Kamba ya constitution chandu kuverengera kutuku kuchita chinji vonse viri nchito ifu. It is very clear. You have immunity when you are in office. That immunity extends to you after office for the things you did while you were in office. You will not be arrested after office unless the immunity is removed. Now, in the event that the immunity is not removed, you cannot be arrested for what you did when you were in office. However, after you have left office, if you commit an offense after having left office, you will be arrested and you will be prosecuted.
What is the interpretation, P.S. Kawana? On obviously, I did read part of the provisions of Article 98, Part 4, and let me read Part 4. Part 4, subject to Clause 9, the President or a person performing executive functions as provided in Article 109 is immune from criminal proceedings, which immunity continues after that person ceases to hold or perform the functions of that office.
So, exactly what I'm talking to you about is what you are reading.
And so, if for example, if in this context, the only surviving president who we have in this country is President Edgar Lungu, if he commits crime today, he might be arrested. That's what you're saying.
Not might. If he commits a crime today, he will be arrested. Yes.
So
if the former president, now I can even mention the name, if the former president Lungu today commits an offense, he will be arrested. He has no immunity for committing offense today. He has immunity for anything that he may have done during the course of his tenure in office, which immunity he still enjoys up to today. That is the former president. He enjoys immunity for the things he may have done while he still was in office. But if he commits an offense today, he has no such immunity. He will be arrested today.
What is government's position, Mr. Kawana, over what President Edgar Lungu said over that incident that happened at Kawana police station?
The police have a position on that, and they are studying the matter, and they will be able to say what they will find. So government awaits what the police is doing. Government has got no time to follow what President Lungu is doing or not doing. We have a drought situation in the country. We have to figure out how we are going to feed our people, how we are going to avert a situation where we lose people to hunger and so on. We've got serious things to do. President Lungu is not an issue that the government spends time to delve into. No, sir.
Well, lastly, as we conclude with you, Mr. Kawana, is government after President Edgar Lungu?
Government is after ensuring that the Zambian people are ameliorated from the drought that is here. The government cannot have time to start going after an individual. If the government is after you, they will come and get you and so on. But I think you have seen from this government that there's nobody who is interested in following up former President Lungu. If it were so, by now we would be talking about removing his immunity in Parliament and so on. But we are not interested in that. We are busy looking after the people of Zambia.
No, clearly,
we are busy looking after President Lungu himself to ensure that we provide security for him and we provide for him as a Zambian citizen.
Clearly, Mr. Kawana, if your government had the numbers, obviously by now you'd have, threatened to remove his immunity.
The issue is that it is not on our agenda. President Lungu's immunity or no immunity is not on our agenda. President Lungu's activity or inactivity is not on our agenda. What is on our agenda is the Zambian people.
Mr. Thabo Kawana, Permanent Secretary from the Ministry of Information and Media, thank you so much for having made time to speak to the Zambian people tonight and clarifying on your earlier statement that you made on the Zambia National Broadcasting Corporation.
Thank you.
Right, that is Mr. Thabo Kawana, PS, Minister of Information and Media, clarifying